This conference will now be recorded.
What's up,
What's
Brian?
happening, folks? What you know good? Let's see if I. You don't hear a bunch of noise in my mic, do you? Like fan noise?
No.
Okay,
Nope.
good. It's a little warm in here, so I got a fan blowing on me. All right, so what do I want to cover first? How's everybody doing?
Outstanding.
Good, great. Did you enjoy your trip, or did rotoboss enjoy its trip?
Oh, rotoboss enjoyed it. She loved it.
Awesome,
I actually got her sitting right here.
nice, nice. So, um, so I got that fiber, and
See that.
I haven't. I've played on it a little bit. I did some deep engraving on some aluminum, and that was pretty spectacular. And I haven't had a whole lot of time. I've been playing with it, the settings, but I don't do a lot of stuff anyway with settings, so it's going to take me. I have a learning curve on this thing, just like everybody else. So
More power.
yeah,
Which wattage is it? Is it the 20?
it's the 20. It's the 20. Yeah, we've got a few of the 20s sitting there. And as soon as we get our ducks in a row, we'll release it. And we're talking about that maybe being in the next week or 2 or 3. So we just want to make sure we got our ducks in a row. And the only thing is at the beginning, I'm not going to be real good on power, speed, and all that stuff, just like I'm not any good talking about that with CO2 lasers because I don't run enough material to have that experience that everybody else has. But I plan on running this thing hard and trying a bunch of different stuff. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm documenting some of it. I've got some. Let me go to the. I have no idea what screen is fixing to pop up. That's not the one I need. I think that's better. And let's go to the portal. And I did some tests. Aurora. The test files, I think, came from that Jeremy J. I've been watching some of his. He's got a 20 watt.
Yeah.
Let's see. But some of those test files, it looks like I got them from Todd, I think, in something. But I did a few little tests and put a few things up there. And I was actually getting some coloring. And I know this isn't a MOPA, but I also got a lot of deformation. So I was burning it pretty hot. So, but anyway, I was just playing around with some different things there. And then the tests are at the bottom. And I've got the ezcad manual in here, I think, and some other stuff. There's some test files. There's the user's manual. So I'm starting to populate a little bit of stuff. So I'll publish the ezcad. Oh, yeah, it's in there. I'll publish that. It's in there. Cool. So still learning it, but it's neat.
And I'm looking, Brian. I'm trying to see what group it was in on Facebook, but I found a link that someone posted in one of the Facebook groups that was a really good fiber like library setting,
Mhm.
similar to what they have, but yeah, it listed for lots of different materials and several different. I might be it right there.
Is it that one?
Yep, that's the one.
I'll post it in the group so you guys can
Fiber
all
laser settings. Yeah, that's simple enough.
chat. Let's see. There we go. And I'm going to populate a bunch of links and stuff because I'm actually literally going to these to find out the information. So I'm going to document all the places that I go and try to keep at least a little sheet, of some references and things like this. So, but that channel that he's got, let me find it real quick. Or we can.
Do
We
you
don't
ever
have to
look
talk
up?
about that.
You ever
What's
look
that?
up Russ's site? He's doing a lot
Russ.
with fiber. He's doing a lot with fiber right now.
Yeah, I subscribe. Of course, I subscribed a long
His
time ago, but
his learning labs.
yeah, yeah. Um, what was I looking for? What was that guy's name? I need to go back to studio. It was Jeffrey J or something is his channel.
Yep. Pull it up real quick.
And he's got a 20 watt, something like that.
Yeah, Jeffrey J. It's
Yeah, there we go. I'll link to his channel in there too. I've just been following him along. So, and it's very similar. So I can look at his settings and everything. But we'll populate all that information and have it available whenever we pull the trigger on this thing. That's kind of what I'm working on now. But anyway, while we're looking at the screen, let me go back to the portal. And I wanted to mention the chiller thing again. We had one other person, I think on the forum or on one of the Facebook groups about that intermittent connection. And SNA does know about it. You just got to give that thing a little extra elbow grease and some wiggles to get that in there. And if it's still intermittent, you can email support and we'll send you out another cable. We haven't had to do that yet. I need to change this. Now it's 5 reports. But if you do have trouble, you know, we can help with that. And Chris did something. I gotta find it. It may not be published yet. I think he may still be working on that. But kind of going over the mechanics of the rotary and doing some stuff like that, because we want to develop some better documentation and stuff like that for the Thunder rotary, the rotoboss and the chuck, even though we don't do too much on the chuck. I want to make sure that all of our documentation is up to date and the best it can be. So, but that's all I have as far as things going on. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to jump in at any time. Jim, I know you got something to say. No? You're muted. I still didn't catch you. I saw your mouth moving. Yeah, you may have something going on with your speaker. See, I shouldn't have asked. That's why you hadn't jumped in here. So. Well, that's about all I got. Grant said he was going to jump in here. He may have gotten on a phone call. Oh yeah. Oh well, I might have talked about that in the last one. That I've got the supply chain document that I'm working on. Let me. But I'm also working on a sales cycle and also a support one. Yeah, I hear something now.
There we go, Jim.
But this kind of goes over where everything comes from. It talks about the rotaries, and it'll talk about where to get service and stuff like that, warranty issues, fume extractors. We're dealing with bofa on those now, so we try to keep all that stuff in here as well, so you know who to contact and when, and that kind of thing for whatever this is. And then in conjunction with that, we're going to update more of the other stuff that is more like this, like the best practices and things like that, so that everything's transparent and you'll know where to go to get whatever. So, and that's a pretty good article. We've updated this one pretty recently. So that'll kind of tell you how we work, our workflow, and that kind of maintains the continuity and sets expectations. So that's all I got, I think. So
I guess the only thing I could add is I got my camera working and dialed in enough that I can print on a piece of tape.
Good. Cool. And I tell you what, she said that I could publish it. I'll make an article about it. I recorded one of the sessions, one of our training sessions, and it actually got into dealing with the camera. And so it had the usual things going on. We weren't sure if it was autofocused when we did the test and that kind of thing. The camera mount was loose. She knew exactly how to go through all of the alignment procedures, but every time she would do it, the very next time it would be wrong again. And come to find out, I believe what it was the camera was sliding around in the mount. So we put wire ties on either side and cinched it up, and then after that it was fine. So, and that's what would typically happen. So that was it ended up being a good diagnostic video for dealing with cameras when you have issues like that, especially with the alignment getting out of whack. So I'll publish that one when I get a minute. So.
Yeah, mine have the wire ties on them for the same reason.
Yeah. And then they go, well, this is an expensive camera and that mount's 3D printed and you got to put wire ties around it, but really if you look at the all-time failure rates, they're extremely low. Not low enough to do anything about it. Just put some wire ties on it. We'll send 2 extra wire ties with them. And that ought to take care of it. So.
Yeah, I've got a question kind of similar, well, not similar, but about cameras. What do you have for camera inside your laser? You have another webcam, or I know you've recorded videos inside of it. What are you
Yeah,
using for that?
I've actually got a bunch of HDMI high-res cameras mounted on various fixtures, clamps and articulating arms and things like that. And then I've got them all going to a 4-channel HDMI, um, whatever you call it.
DVR or whatever.
Yeah, right. Capture card. Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
use it through OBS, but I've been using this little Osmo. I've got this little DJI Osmo, and I'm starting to use it more and more because it's got a gimbal on it. It's a lot like my drone, and you just push a button and start recording. You can throw it in your pocket, and the file size is not large because I'm not shooting raw, you know, and that kind of stuff. But I'm
Yeah,
starting to use
and
this more and more.
they've got the action cam version that's similar to like the GoPro Hero 9 as well. But,
Right.
now, one thing I was looking into though, so I've got a couple of GoPros, a couple of different drones and cameras. Have you found a good way? So let's say you're doing a long engrave or print that you can close the laser, have a camera inside, still view it outside, and have a software time lapse on it.
Yeah. I do my time lapses in Vegas, you know, because I do
Okay.
post if I'm going to do something like that. But in most of those action cameras will have that built in. Mine does. And actually, I've got one of these little magnets on the bottom and just a ball mount, so that I have a little bit of articulation there. And then this is the Wi-Fi. Where is it? This is the Wi-Fi adapter, so that I can use it via Wi-Fi.
They also got a video velocity is what I use for slow mos and things like that. They got a lot of features. And it's a free software.
Video velocity, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That's what I
Video.
was running into was finding something that wasn't manufacturer specific, right? So you got
Yeah.
GoPros and you've got the built-in hardware bit, but trying to, kind of
Well,
want to use it live, real time, watching it on the PC, and then be able to post process it
well,
as well.
the only problem with that is like if you have an EPS or EPS, I think it's called, little cameras that are on a circuit board that you make your own kind of case for or
The
whatever.
EPS 32s, yeah.
Yeah. With that program, it defaults it to whatever the default resolution is, even though it's like a 1080p capable. If it's only programmed as a default of 720, then you're kind of stuck with that sometimes. There's a workaround for it, but I haven't used it in a while, so I couldn't tell you what that is off the top of my head. Um, but it's like Lightburn; it'll default to the lowest setting programmed
That
into the memory.
Yeah, that was just Windows specific, and he wrote his own capture engine. That's why you have a choice between default and custom capture engine in there. And ever since he wrote that engine, I think that took care of that, so that it would get the metadata off the cameras properly. Because I think that's usually what's happening. But you're talking about not necessarily using it through Lightburn, but rather doing time lapses and making videos so that you can publish them or use them as content or whatever, right? Not
Yeah,
necessarily.
exactly.
Yeah, so a lot of people use a Wise camera or something like that. If I use OBS as my platform for my multicam system, if that's something that you're looking at, it's incredible open source software. It's free.
I'll have to look into that.
And
I'll
if you're
put a
looking
link.
for a good broadcast, I mean the OBS is really good. Like what I'm on right now is through XSplit. So if you're looking to do like stitched videos or like what I'm doing now with the logos or however you want to do it, there's a bunch of different settings in there. You can have multiple cameras on the same screen.
Yeah,
You can have one as a slow mo, one as a live action, one as so there's a bunch of different things you can do with that. I think it's like $120, but it's a pay once and you got it for as long as you got it kind of thing.
yeah. OBS will do all that stuff. Matter of fact, you can turn
Yep.
just about anything into a source.
Yep.
I've got my tablet as a camera and everything else too, so I can walk around and then use the tablet to switch the cameras around. So it's really cool.
Yep.
And a lot of those, a lot of those are made for gamers. Like there's one, and they're all actually built off OBS. They fork off the OBS platform anyway. But there's one for gamers that it's more of a wizard. It's not quite so command line-ish when you're setting up sources and things, which I prefer it that way. But it's more of a wizard. I want an image or I want my score stats, and it automatically populates those overlays. But you can literally make any source you can, website, web page, image, doesn't matter, a source. So other browsers, other windows, just about anything you can digitize.
Okay.
I do have a question that sort of pondering me for Jason, basically. The two little wheels that come with the rotoboss, these ones here, what are they for?
Those are your extra wheels for the clamp.
Okay.
So if you have a heavier object or something like that you need a little bit more tension on it, you can up the wheel size, and it'll provide a little bit more grip.
Sort of thought that, but I wasn't 100% positive.
Yep.
And so, how's the metal coming? How are you looking on the timeline on that?
Well, here's the. Let me take this background off so you can see it.
I've never seen that before. What's that?
Original. There we go. So this is the all metal prototype right now. So everything on it for the new ones, I'm shooting for the first part of September, but depending on logistics, that might be pushed back a little bit. But on this, basically everything on it is now metal. It's a little bit rusty because I didn't take care of it while I was gone.
Yeah.
But the only thing that's going to be plastic on them now is essentially just the tensioner on the back, the belt tensioner, because I have several different versions for the different models, so it's easier just to print those, and they're not really a failure item. So,
Which none of this stuff has historically been, but yeah.
No, but I mean, you're paying that kind of money. I mean, I want to make sure everybody gets the best quality that I can provide. So it's kind of been a work in progress over the year, or about a year and a half now, almost 2 years. I
have heard a couple people make a suggestion about making some sort of quick release where you can slide the trolley back and forth without having to screw it. If you have to move it all the way back instead of grabbing the rod. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's even a way to do that where you can push a button and slide it and then lock it into place. And
I mean,
that on the sled.
I mean, you could just grab the bar and spin it.
Yeah, that's
and
the
unless you're going from something really small to really big. I mean,
and I think that's kind of what they're talking about.
But in future, once I run through these bottom plates, I've been contemplating putting a little tab with a thumb screw, so you could do that if you wanted. But the whole point behind this was to eliminate the thumb screw and allow you to do precise adjustments instead of trying to move it and
make it stay there.
Well, once you tighten it down, it's going to move a little bit because the screw is going to bite into the metal. So that's the main reason why I went with that. The bar on the horizontal axis.
Yeah, and it hadn't been a huge thing, but I have had a few people say, "Hey, if that was a quick release, or could be, but yet you could still use it, or whatever." But
that'd be kind of hard to. That'd be kind of hard to engineer into it. I mean, it could be done, I'm sure.
You have to get like a split nut with some sort of spring locking mechanism or something.
Yeah. Well, the problem is you can't really do a quick disconnect on this. It would have to be on the ends. Which essentially you could just undo the screws on the bearing blocks on the ends and just slide this shaft back and forth quick and easy. So I mean that would be an option.
I think they make a set of spring-loaded jaws that have teeth on the inside that kind of mimic a nut cut in half, but it's under compression, from a spring, and you can press it and actually release one side of it. I think they make such a thing. I don't know if they make it for that particular lead screw.
I mean, I can look into it for sure. But
that's V3 or V4 probably, right? Anyway, but no,
I love them. I don't really consider these versions of anything because I mean, nothing rotary wise has changed.
Right.
It's just going to metal.
Different materials, just
So the design's been the same since the get go.
So when can I buy one?
Whenever I get the parts to put it together.
Well, let me know. I definitely want to try that thing out as soon as I can get one in my hands.
Yeah, I know Grant wants one of each, so he can test them out and do some videos and things like that. And
He
obviously,
can send me back my all metal full roto. Then I'll take it back, and he can have all the new metal ones.
Yeah. So
I still got an acrylic one.
But yeah, so this is what's going to be coming out.
Nice.
And then there'll be upgrade kits and stuff for the metal, which is anything that's on here. Metal is pretty much simple to do. There's no major parts that need to come apart to do it. It's just replacing just caps and the knobs and things like that. So, but there's also, I've got an extension kit. Hey, what's up, Grant? His ears were burning. Got an extension kit that's available on the site now. That can extend this from about 21 inches long to about 40 inches long. Just really quick and easy by taking the plate off of this end, putting the attachment on the end, and then putting this plate assembly back on. The only downside to that is you lose your lead screw, unless you get a custom lead screw. But trying to, I can get them. It's just shipping something that's 40 inches long is not very cost effective. As far as that goes.
Damaged.
Well, that too, but the good thing about
they probably shim up the packages with it, jam it in there where it goes on each side, and put a bow in it to keep their packages up. They'd find some way to bend it in half.
The good thing is on the bottom of the sled here, you got an eccentric nut, so you can tighten that eccentric nut up to put friction on this, so it doesn't just freely flop around. It'll give some resistance and actually hold position when you put it in place. So.
So one could do that if they wanted to eliminate the lead screw for that versatility, and they could just tighten that up a little bit where it won't just freely slide. You'd have to actually. Okay.
You'd want. Well, I mean, you want to be careful not to tighten it too much, mainly just because, if it gets too tight, then you're kind of jerking it around and you're not really making any kind of precise movements with it. But yeah, that is an option for people if they want to eliminate the lead screw and just slide it themselves. That would be the easiest way to do it.
What's the weight difference between current version and that version?
Give me just a second. I'll find out. So the current version with a motor is about 8.5 pounds, 9 pounds. This one without a motor is 7 pounds. So with a motor, you're looking at about just at 8 pounds.
So it didn't really change much at all then.
Not much, because I mean the metal. I mean, there's not much difference in the metal as far as the weight compared to the plastic, because the plastic is made to be pretty dense. To limit shocks and cracks and things like that from use, so it about offsets the same.
It looks nice.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have. I'm gonna start building up a couple, one of each probably, as I get the parts in. That way, hopefully one of these sessions I'll be able to show the Thunder version of them. Because my version is just going to be all black. Thunder's will still be blue.
Yeah.
With the anodized blue, there's a bearing block. And obviously the wheels. And then you got everything on it. Everything that's on what you have now blue is going to be blue still. It's just going to be metal.
Any idea what the cost will be on the mod kits for existings?
I haven't figured that out yet. It's probably going to be somewhere around 100. So I'm going to try to keep it around cost. So we should be somewhere around 100 for the mod kit to make everything, and you'll get the upgraded O-rings, which are the silicone O-rings instead of the unit end. So
Cool. Yeah, I think those O-rings will make a difference too. Those others walk a little bit more and they crack a little easier. So
yeah, I mean, believe it or
they
not,
seem to have a lot more grip on them. You know.
I haven't had a lot of issues with the black ones. I mean, I know
Yeah, we
some
haven't either.
people have had cracks and stuff like that, but after you dig or peel the onion back, so to speak, you tend to find out that it was because of the lack of maintenance or the conditions in the work environment were
Yeah,
humid and things like that. So,
yeah.
but I mean,
What maintenance do you recommend on the black curt ones?
I mean, truthfully, not much is really needed. Just keep it in a nice controlled environment. Because if you have a lot of fluctuation of hot and cold and humidity, things like that, then you're gonna get rust on the hardware, and you'll get cracking of the O-rings and things like that. I've had my original one that's out in my wood shop. I've had that one since day one, and I haven't had a cracked O-ring or any corrosion on it. So I mean, it just, if you do any maintenance to it, if the lead screws start to get kind of rough, you could put a little 3-in-1 oil or something on it. Nothing too aggressive like lithium grease or anything like that. As far as like cleaning the O-rings, just water, damp cloth and water to get residue off. Because if you use any kind of chemicals and stuff like that, it's obviously it may not ruin them right now, but as it goes, I mean, these solvents are gonna dry out the rubber slowly. And we've had some instances where people have done that, and they're like, yeah, I clean it all the time and nothing's ever happened. And then all of a sudden they go out to their shop one day and all their O-rings have just kind of exploded because they dried out completely, and they crack and crumble. So just something, the mildest detergent or something that you can use on it is the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then if any hardware starts to get any kind of surface corrosion, I just use like a silicone spray. I'll spray it on like a tip of an acid brush, and then just brush it on it just to kind of clean it and seal it up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I do have a number. Yeah, I don't know a person, no. But you can give me a call.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So what's up with you, Grant? You got any good news? I'm gonna put you on the spot for a minute.
I got that Instagram thing to work. I posted it the first time, and I got the cover photo a little off. I didn't think about how it was going to have to be square on the main part of the page, so I had to go back there and edit that. But it looks nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to start
that's
posting
weird
other
how they
things
did
too.
1-to-1. That
Yeah.
that goes against, traditional logic as far as cinematography goes, or holding it upright, the portrait mode. For a long time I couldn't stand that. But that's what everything's going to, because it's all mobile devices.
And Robert's in here. Robert, I got you on Instagram now. I don't know if you can hear me. I guess I could send the link. I'm going to do that.
Are you going to put it in the chat?
Mm-hmm. Copy link.
Well, Grant, I kind of talked a little bit about the fiber, that we're just trying to get comfortable and make sure we have our ducks in a row, before we pull the trigger on it. And a few other little things, but hadn't jumped in anything super good yet. We're just kind of tossing some stuff back and forth. Oh, wait, where is it? I'm going to play with that high definition camera this weekend. I don't know if it's going to become a thing, but I've got a 13 megapixel 4K USB camera that I'm going to try with Lightburn. So
I could put one to use for you.
what, one of the high res cameras?
No, the fiber.
Oh, well, I'm sure Grant will sell you one.
Sure he will.
I think
I'm not so sure anymore. I've been asking him if he'll sell us one for 6 months.
Well, he's got 4 of them. I just threw him under the bus.
I did get a FedEx warning. I wonder if that's it.
No. One thing I did finally do, Brian, is I put up let's flip this thing around. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. I got that up.
Nice.
Chris made that. Chris Licasio. So that's one thing I've done.
Yeah.
Short list.
Short list. So
For promotions, what they need to do is just start including a hat and a shirt with every laser goes out.
The shirts, yeah. We could do the shirts. Shoot me an email with what size and I can get you a shirt.
Go. Always use a shirt.
you should travel the country, Grant, with a T-shirt launcher. You
There
know,
you go.
and just
There you
visit
go.
everybody and
See,
just.
I tried
Show
to
up
get
on everybody's
Grant.
doorstep.
I tried to get Grant to follow me around so he could do that, do some promotional stuff. He didn't want to come.
Oh, you just wanted a cameraman.
Yeah, I had one, but he wasn't very good.
It's a little hobbled.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
it worked.
Aside from that, though, I'm just trying to do this Instagram stuff, doing research on it. I'm ready for our warehouse shop place to be built, so I'll have a demo room. I can record videos. Brian's going to help me get a camera set up, kind of like what he has, and I'm going to make sales videos for our YouTube and social media. So that's down the line.
He's going to become YouTube famous.
You got to get that building built first.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm
everybody's
saying.
going to have Thunder Lambos.
You got to
There
have
you
a
go.
girl doing it though, because that's what everybody else does. They have the pretty girls in front of the screens.
Right?
Yeah, I don't look good enough to garner a following.
Yeah.
They have those high, the flamboyant or whatever you call them, the ones that are high motivative salespeople. You know who I'm talking about, the other bad company that's out there.
I was just looking at the tickets for a minute. But like I said, if anybody has a question, let me know because these are totally unscripted. And I don't like to be quiet for too long. So
We'll just
if you
have to send Grant a wig and some prosthetics, and then he'll blend in.
Hey, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to
Isn't
give
that
myself a chance.
Isn't that the norm now?
Have one
You
of
know,
them
or-
girls dress you up.
Actually, Grant, you could just identify as a girl, and then that fits into today's society, so you'll be good.
This one's going the wrong direction, I think.
No comment.
Yeah. Grant's just on here being my filter today.
But I'm excited for that stuff for real. Like, I've been very interested in making good content. Like, one of the companies, Glowforge, makes really good videos, and some of our
And
other
really crappy
competitors,
products.
if you want to call it competitor, they're making good videos. And we have videos that Brian's making that are really good, but they're not sales, they're support, how to fix this and how to fix that. I want to make some that are, what are the differences between the Nova machines and then differences between the rotaries, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's something. So I saw recently, watched a video of someone that has a Mira, and they have was it the Pyburn rotary? And not having them, I didn't realize how much crap they have to go through to even use the rotary. Oh. So, Thunder is so much better with the Thunder and the rotoboss just on plugging it in and going and not having to take the honeycomb out and take this out and adjust that, and disconnect this. There's a lot of additional steps that some of the other brands and manufacturers have to go through.
Yeah, I just seen a video on that the other day, exactly what you're describing.
Yeah, and the other thing is we get asked the same 10 questions all the time. So I'm going to make videos centered towards those same questions. And eventually, Brian and I were talking about this earlier. One thing that we get flooded with is questions about, like, what's an update on my machine, lead time, and all that kind of stuff. So I want to figure out a way to make that accessible. Like right now, I don't really get any updates, but I want to see if it's possible for me to get updates and then make those easily accessible to where people don't have to ask us; they can just go look.
You need to stick a GPS tracker in every crate. You just send them a link. That way we can follow it across the ocean.
That'd be crazy. So
Yeah, that
we'll
would.
see if we can parse some information out of some of our systems and make it show up where you enter in your name and some information, and it'll return your projected date according to whatever. container you're on.
Well, I know, like my suppliers and stuff that I have, if something comes by ship or whatever, they'll actually produce a shipping label, and I can track it. Obviously not on the boat, but once it hits land, it'll automatically come up and say, "Hey, your package has arrived. This is your delivery window." So that way, I mean, I don't know how feasible that is. I mean, I don't know
If
how
that were
feasible that
feasible,
is.
I would have implemented it a year and a half ago.
There's
Yeah,
just so many hands involved. So essentially, how it works is China builds it. They schedule a load date. The ship picks up the container. The container goes from China to the U.S. in the port in Los Angeles, and from there, ATA has to go pick it up from the port. That has to be scheduled. The port or customs and all of them have to schedule that with ATA. ATA goes to get it. It gets to ATA. They unload everything. They begin making appointments. But you got to remember, at one time we have like 100 to 150 machines at the warehouse.
yeah.
So you have to schedule delivery on all of those. After that's done, the company actually has to come pick it up, and then we get a tracking number.
Oh,
So people are asking for tracking numbers when it's on the boat, but I don't have anything until it's been picked up from the warehouse.
you use different shippers, right? It's not always, or
Yeah. Whoever
freight
can get it the
deliveries.
fastest.
Yeah.
Then what's
So
confusing is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just like FedEx, UPS, ASI, or whoever kind of
Roadrunner.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Then it gets confusing when you're looking at your tracking and it's coming. You can't understand why it's going where it's going until you figure out it's on a train.
And right
Sitting
now
there
I
look.
have a machine being delivered to me, and so I'm seeing it from the other perspective. And on the tracking, it says it was supposed to be delivered yesterday, but it's in Tyler, which is about an hour away. It's where I live actually, and it says it won't be delivered until they can schedule it. Since we live in a remote area, it won't be delivered anytime soon.
That's pretty
I will.
wild.
I will say mine went. Even though I live in a remote area, heck, I live out in Amish country. I will. Mine came out of Columbus, and it went pretty flawless. Of
Go
course, I had a
Buckeyes.
really. Yeah, really. Hopefully, we have a good season. Um, but the guy that I had that was the shipping company was a small shipping company out of Columbus, and they were amazing. I had absolutely no problems. So I was probably one of the very fortunate ones. Um, the biggest thing was I think at one point in time they lost the tracking or something was I can't remember because Grant was helping me with it. Oh, my address was screwed up.
Yeah,
And once we
Roadrunner
got
typed
that,
it in wrong.
yeah, then once we got that resolved, then everything was perfectly fine.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues just yet. It's just it goes to show that the tracking number isn't necessarily accurate. That's the day that it gets to the final hub, and then they have to deliver.
Yeah, but
So
usually they give a heads up. At least it did for me when it gets to
supposed to.
the local hub to schedule a drop off.
They're supposed to, but I got a call the other day when that didn't happen. But
What, one
what do
just
you
showed up
do?
at someone's house?
Yeah, but I
Oh
mean, you
wow.
deliver. We've sold almost 1,500 in the past year, and that's only happened a handful of times.
Yeah.
But the way they make it sound on the wonderful world of Facebook, it happens daily.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah, because they only complain when something goes wrong. Nobody talks
Hey,
about in post when they had a perfect experience. Right? Mine was
Exactly.
phenomenal. Right? Don't have any issues.
Yeah. It's like plane crashes. You always hear about them, but when you look at the stats, there's really not that many.
yep.
I still have yet to be on one of them things.
On a plane?
Yeah, I've never been on one.
Oh
I
wow.
thought he was talking about a plane crash. I was like, yeah, I've never been in a plane crash either.
Yeah, that's really what you said.
I have crashed quite a few drones, but that's a different story.
I
Oh, yeah.
wanted. I have not yet to been on a plane, but yet I want to skydive.
Kill two birds with one stone.
Well, I figure that way. If I'm on a plane with a chute, at least I've got a chance.
Mm-hmm. Sure enough.
Yeah, my dream place to go visit is Japan.
There you go.
And the wife said she won't get on a plane with me because my mouth don't have a filter, and she's worried about us getting arrested. She says because I probably will definitely say the wrong thing.
So don't fly commercial.
So Brian, they have any new updates to any of the machines coming out?
They started putting the crumb trays in there. I
What
don't
was there?
think
What was the
so. Not
talk
since
about the air regulators? Is that something that's being done new? Or
the regulators are like
well,
the
the
solenoids.
solenoid, yeah, because they're having
They
problems with
went
the
with a
solenoids.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really a problem. It was just a few again, but a few is enough. So they tried another one, and it's an SMC brand, just like
Oh,
those
okay.
monitors that we use. So it's a better quality when
Oh,
they have updated them.
oh,
And I
okay.
forget exactly. I had an article about it. I forget exactly when that started, but we've got both types. And since we've knocked our pressures down, to 55 ultimately now, we've fluctuated there for a little bit while we were testing, trying to get as much out of it as we could. We haven't had any failures on the relay since we implemented that, amended maximum pressure. So
How about
uh,
gauges? They looking at doing gauges or no?
I don't know. They used to put those on the Mars series, before the Novas as standard equipment. And it would
Yeah.
actually shut the laser off if you didn't have air going to the thing, which that could be, I think we talked about that. That could be problematic if you're trying to engrave on acrylic and you're knocking your air down so low,
Yeah,
it
but
could,
if they put one in that's not monitored, like
yeah,
if
you
the
don't have to
system,
have it trigger anything. You can just have it as a
yeah,
display. Yeah.
yeah,
They haven't talked about doing any of that, because some people don't need it. Some people don't want it.
yeah.
We don't want to start
The,
adding whistles just for the sake of adding it. They have a pretty good reason to put something on or take something off before they do it.
uh,
But I mean, we could put all kinds of stuff on there, but that also adds a level of complexity to the build, and more things that
cost.
could go wrong, and more cost and all that stuff. So, because there's really not a lot of markup in these machines, that we just know they're good and they last. So that's really what the selling point is on these things, more than it is the price point, but we still got to be competitive. So, which I think, with all the extra stuff, the TL timer board and the maintenance board in there where you can, to interlock, to defeat the interlocks and all the other stuff that's in there, dual air assist and that kind of thing. There's a lot of innovation in there. And talking about innovation, I did take that fiber machine apart just because I'm nosy. So there is a TL timer board in it, and it controls the airflow, the exhaust and all that stuff. I've got that bofa extractor plugged up to it. It only draws 7 amps, and the whole fiber only pulls about 10. At 100% power.
Yeah,
So I've got the exhaust fan relay working the bofa directly. But now that bofa does have a 24-volt trigger to turn it on and off if you want to connect it into the interface, and it's also got an alarm signal out where you could attach it to the alarm on the machine, so the machine would shut down. So you can
hmm,
interface it that way if you want, but I'm not going to.
yeah.
I'm just gonna watch. If I get a red light, I'll stop. But
Does
it's
it
now,
does it have the industrial light on it?
which
Like
one?
like the
The
fiber? Like,
fiber? Yeah, it's got two
well,
LEDs
no,
that are.
no, 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 that's not what I mean. I'm talking about the
What do you mean?
green and red, the green and
Red
red
and
light
green
on
up
top.
top.
Oh yeah, it's on there. It's got one.
Oh, is it? Oh,
It
okay.
does. Yeah.
Now, is the BOFA required on the fiber, or can you still use
No,
regular exhaust?
you can use a regular exhaust. It comes with a fan and all the exhaust stuff, and you can outlet it. It's not quite 4 inch. It's like a 3 or something like that. But it comes with everything that you need to do it, except of course to stub it out. And that's some of the information that I need to put together, before we start selling them, is the diameter of the hose, and so you can get the peripherals you need to be able to exhaust it. But a lot of people are using the extractor. Um, and one reason is, I mean, they're heavy, man. I'm gonna tell you, I never asked for help, and I got on my HOA page and asked for a couple people to come help me pick this thing up. I had no idea it was gonna be that darn heavy. I mean, it wasn't
So
bad. Me and another guy picked it up, but it was awkward. And but if you could put that on a rolling stand, I can see people taking these to gun shows or setting up in exhibition halls or something, and then that's where that BOFA would really come in handy. And I like using it because I'm not sucking out my internal air. If I'm trying to have some air on in here, I'm not depleting my conditioned space so rapidly.
yeah, you definitely, either way you go, you definitely want an extractor for them because they don't look like they put off any fumes or anything,
Yeah,
but they put off enormous
and
amounts of dust and debris
it's
because
nasty, nasty stuff.
oh yeah, I mean
Uh,
even I have an exhaust extractor for mine, and running the plates, engraving all the rotary plates and stuff. After I'm done, I have like a thick layer of black on my
on the
bed.
pre-filter. Oh
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
On the bed, just laying on the bed that the extractor wasn't able to pull away.
Hmm.
So I mean that's a misconception that people have with fiber is they're clean. They don't put off a lot of dirt and debris and dust and fumes and things,
Yeah,
which they actually do quite a bit. Probably more so I would say than a CO2 in some regards,
yeah.
because you're actually removing metal. And you definitely don't want to be breathing in metal particulate.
Yeah, it's not good for you. And the extractors do a great job. There's a smaller work area there, and that one that they prescribe for this one does great. And the extractor itself is pretty small. You know, a 12-foot square or 12-inch
Yeah.
square rather. But that thing's heavier than too for that whatever that filter medium is in there, activated charcoal and the other stuff. I don't know. I think it's
Yep.
kryptonite or something. 'Cause that thing weighs 70 pounds.
Well, that's
But
not activated charcoal. It's not light,
yeah,
especially the amount that you got to put in one of those things.
yeah. So, but yeah, I'll put out some more stuff on that, and we'll get those going quickly. I think Grant's already reaching out to a few people to start gauging interest in that kind of thing. We've got a list of about 200 people that are interested in it, but there's only 4 machines, so I'm not sure how we'll work that. It'll be like everything else. We'll just put you on the list. Grant, we were discussing how fulfillment's going to go on these fibers if all 200 people on that list order. You know, can they have them like tomorrow or the next day?
The day before, actually, before you order it.
Now you're sounding like one of those other guys.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't know right now is what the lead times are. Like Brian said, I do have 4 that I can sell right now, but I don't have
Maybe they
any other
should
ones
just
on the way.
bite the bullet and fill one container up, an additional container among all the others that we get, and just shoot a whole boat of them over here and be done with it.
That's
I
what I
think
would
they'd move
like.
that fast.
The problem is I don't think they can get more containers over than what we're currently getting. So in order to get the fibers here, I can't, like that container's going to have less
You'd be
novas,
sacrificed. You're right. I got you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're by
then
which
your
is
own
also a
boat.
thing.
Logistically, you'd have to buy another container and deal with all that. And
I don't want to get less novas. That's the problem
yeah,
because we're selling so many of them.
And it's
But I know
incredible.
we'd sell a lot of fibers too.
Yeah, it's incredible. The number keeps going up on Thunder users, but the service burden does not go up with it.
see, I
Imagine
need
that.
I need to get one of those so I can adapt the rotary to it.
One of the fibers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
The
my number?
rotary's coming. They're going to send me a rotary, but right now they're still working on it. They're doing a couple more tweaks because one thing is you're probably going to have to run it with the door open.
Oh yeah,
And that's another
definitely.
thing I want to tell you. And a lot of people have CO2 lasers and they don't get any safety glasses. If you're going to run a fiber, get the right ones. Acrylic and glass, it'll go right through. It will not stop it. It will not mark it. It will go right through to your corneas and your retinas. So if you do get a fiber, you need to get the proper PPE.
And you gotta make sure too, because the fiber and the CO2 run on different bandwidths or wavelengths, and there's different glasses depending. Like the greens are more for the fiber, and then you got your reds and your kind of bluish more so standard for the CO2. But I do believe that the actual fiber ones will help protect as well for the CO2, but I don't think the CO2 will protect for the
Exactly.
fiber.
That's correct.
So it's
Yeah.
better to get the best ones you can get, and then that way
Yeah.
you're safe with all different types of lasers than to get one and then not be good enough for the other.
Yeah, and most of the ones that are green for that wavelength, and I'll make an article about that. I'll work on it tonight and publish it.
Yep.
Will help with laser because basically these are polycarbonate or acrylics anyway. They're just tinted differently, I think, to mitigate and absorb that.
Yeah,
wavelength.
they have different levels, like yellow and green. They have blue.
Yeah.
They have red, and they're
Well,
all
they've
they're all
done, yeah, and they've done tests and shown it. You know, where you put a piece of metal down and put a piece of glass or acrylic on top, and it won't touch the glass or acrylic. It'll burn the metal every time. So
Yep.
standard safety glasses are no with fiber. So, and we'll have more on that. So, and that's one reason for the enclosed system. You know, a lot of these that you buy, the eBay lasers, the fibers are wide open. I wonder how many people actually contain any of that radiation that may be coming off of that. You know, I like the enclosed for that reason. It's restrictive as far as what you can put in it, unless you defeat it, which you can. You can defeat the interlocks. I've run it with the door up, but that's why we have these. So
Yeah. Yeah, mine's an
yeah,
open laser, so you gotta wear it,
got to wear them.
especially if you got customers or something that come by.
Yeah,
That's where I've had issues. It's like, oh, I want to watch. It's like, no, you need to go around the corner. Don't look at it.
or avert your
But
eyes. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yep.
All
So
right. Well, I think we got through this whole thing without probably more than 4 questions. If anybody has any more in the last couple of minutes, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I got a question real quick.
Yeah.
If like I know if you buy I think somewhere on one of them they had talked about like if you got the 63 100 and you wanted to convert it to the 130, you'd have to buy with the power supply and a tube, correct?
Power supply and a tube, correct.
And and about how much is it to convert it? No, something like that.
Let me look real quick. So the
I
power
think
supplies are about 250, and the tubes I've
tubes
got.
range.
Tubes are 1250 is what it shows on the deal. I think it was.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
the Reese's.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we have SPT on everything but the 80 watt. So,
Oh,
and these are,
okay.
you can get a 130 for 695. Oh, there's a lot of feedback. I guess if y'all wouldn't mind muting your mic if you're not talking. But yeah, you can get one for 695. Get a SPT 130, and then you'll need a MYJG 150. Actually, it's 150 watt power supply,
Yep.
and those are going to be $200 or so. About that, they're a little higher if you get them faster. But yeah, about $200 for the power supply you can expect.
Yeah, and
Okay, yeah.
I wouldn't skimp on a power supply either. I'd get a good one.
Yeah. Well, the
Nah,
MYJGs are, and they're also, you want to get one that we spec, because that way our calibration won't be off. If you get a different version, the calibrations may be off. So it's good to stick with the OEM part. But
Oh, is that the OEM site you showed?
well, it's the OEM power supply we use, is the MYJG 100, and they're all made by the same company, I think. But you can get it from Cloud Ray. I've gotten one from Vivor. I tried OM Tech a couple times. To be real honest with you, I'll never use them again. They can't even get me a power supply, even if I pay extra for it. But I've had decent luck out of Vivor, and usually Cloud Ray. But all of them, Cloud Ray can house power supplies in China or Russia or the UK or the US. And they used to have power supplies in the US, but now they're all coming out of China. So that's why I haven't been using Cloud Ray. If they'd keep them in the States, I would. If Light Object would carry these MYJG series supplies, I would be giving Marco a lot more business for people, because he can get you stuff in a couple of days.
Yeah, if you use Cloud Ray, I'd recommend. I use them through AliExpress.
Mm-hmm.
Going through their direct site on AliExpress, because you could save a lot of money, or save money because you're taking the third party out. But
Right.
also shipping is fairly decent.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from them directly, than vice doing it on Amazon or through whatever the website is you had there. It might be a little bit different. Who knows? But
Yeah,
I usually tell people if they're not in a hurry to get it directly through them and save a little
definitely.
bit of money.
Yeah, most of the time everybody's in a hurry when I'm looking, so I'm always trying to find US sources. You go pay that premium, or we are if it's a warranty part and we don't have it on the shelf, which usually we do, but if we don't, we'll jump through hoops to get it.
Yeah.
It takes. So, well, cool guys. We still got about 5 minutes. I don't know if anybody has anything. Grant, you got any last words? Is that the right phrase? Probably
And Grant,
not.
you're looking to get your mics off.
He has to don his apparatus.
Yeah, I don't even think he heard what was being said.
Hello, Grant.
He might be on the phone.
No, I had to take my headset out. I was talking to Rebecca. What's up?
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
We're just bugging you. We're just wasting your time.
No, I was gonna see. You guys are still wanting one of each, right?
Yeah, if possible, because I'm getting
Okay.
a Nova 24 in next week, so I'll use the low boy for that one, and then we have a 35 here. I'm getting a 51. I'll be able to film all of them and actually use all of them.
Okay.
And then you can send me my junior that's got the metal on it back, so I can quit using the acrylic one after you get your new ones.
We'll see.
Or I'll just get me a new one too. That'll probably be best. I was already asking him about that anyway.
I gotta
probably
wait.
didn't put my-
I gotta wait for the word from the boss before I send that.
Who's the boss?
Wherever
Not
he's.
me.
Not me.
No, we'll
Place
get you
the
taken care
boss.
of. Like I
We
said,
won't-
sometime in September, hopefully.
Cool. I'll be busy until probably the next September or the next September on the fiber anyway. So I probably won't have time to mess with that pretty rotary.
And the
Yeah.
Odin.
And the Odin. I'm excited about that Odin 32. I am. And I've said it. I didn't have warm fuzzies about that 22. But I had a prototype version and they'd already made some changes. But this 32, I'm pumped about. I think it's going to be solid. And at 60 watt RF, it's going to be a powerhouse. I think it's going to get the job done.
What's the bed size of that one?
The 30, it's 32 by something. It's almost the size of a Nova 35 in the bed in the work area.
32
really?
by 20.
32 by
And what-
20. Okay,
What's
so not quite.
what's the
Nova 35.
specs on that? About 2000?
2000.
Yep.
Yep, on a 60 watt SPT RF.
They've made
Yep.
a lot of upgrades. Like I know one of
Yeah.
the things with the Odin 22, one of the first models, is it would rattle a lot. So they changed a lot of those components that factor into that. There's some other things too. I don't remember off the top, but it's going to be
Yeah.
nice.
I'll be able to compare too because I've got one of the last prototypes that was made before it went into production, I think, and I can compare it to that new 32 whenever it gets here and make some real good differences. But I know they did change the gantry and the motion control system a little bit to help with that. I think they even gained, even though the speed didn't get much higher, I think they gained a lot more acceleration by reducing that inertia, by getting that weight off that head. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. But
Have
I
they
guess
told
I'm
you
gonna-
when you're going to get it?
No, it might. I mean, that was way out. It may be 6 months or a year. I don't even know. I don't know the status on it yet. I'd like to know, but I actually like having the extra space, not having a laser stuck right here. I got room for some more things. So
You're gonna
I
have to
think,
build an addition to your garage.
well, yeah, I need to. So I'll pretty much live out here. But I'm gonna click the record button. I think we're